Uh, there was a funny story about a guy who lived, he had a backyard full of weeds, and the guy who lived next door to him had this beautiful sculptured lawn in the back with, trimmed with little flower beds and perfectly manicured, lovely backyard. So he saw the neighbor out there gardening one day and he went out and he said, "Oh, your yard is so beautiful. Isn't it amazing what the Lord can do?" And so the neighbor said, "Yeah, well, you should have seen it when the Lord had it all to himself." This is Spirit Led Supermoms, and I have another tip for you on improving your relationships and experiencing more happiness in life. So make sure to subscribe and click on the bell to get updates when I put up new videos. We are like a seed planted, and sometimes we're surrounded by weeds, and the weeds like suck the joy out of us and they prevent us from seeing our way forward. We are in charge of our own mental garden. When we can get a vision of something better, or if we can't stand it anymore, like a seed that instinctively knows how to travel upward towards the light, even if it's in the darkness and even underneath a rock, maybe, seeds know that they're supposed to travel up. Something about opposite from gravity or something, and towards the light. So we can make efforts towards beginning our climb upward and find ways towards the light of truth, and that will give us wonderful growth. A lot of times we get stuck in a rut, in a mental rut. We get stuck into like going over the painful things that either we've done or other people have done, and basically it's just another thing that keeps us on the hamster wheel of misery in our mind, because our mind is what is driving us to wherever we are going in our lives. So if we're thinking of all the bad things in the past, it's just perpetuating the stuff in the future, because it's continuing that vibe of everything's horrible. So when I keep going over the painful things in my mind, it's not only a waste of time, but it's a waste of life that could be spent growing greater love and joy in our garden of experiences. When we meditate and we have inner discovery, we can get the big picture and begin to see what's going on from above, and then we don't take everything so personally and realize that this is this is the way life is down here on earth for everyone. Everyone has the same struggles of trying to see the bigger picture and find that place of peace where we can relinquish all that stuff, and then we can begin to see ourselves in true perspective, that we're neither better than anyone else or less than anyone else, and then we can treat ourselves with the same dignity that each of us is entitled to, and not just ourselves but treat other people with that same dignity. There's an antidote to all the painful memories when they come up: prayer and love and the joy of God's presence. I love that analogy that God is the water and we're just the hose. And sometimes we have this, we see our sink, our dirty sink is kind of like our life. A lot of times we expect God to do all the work because we just turned on the water. We without allowing his water into every part of us. They didn't fill their whole sink or fill their whole life with His Spirit. Because if we really want to feel clean inside of all of the pain and the guilt and the shame and the anger and the blame that we have carried with us, we have to allow God in every part of our being. Just like we'd have to make sure we expose our sink of our life to every part with water and maybe a little scrubbing, which would be the effort towards getting the water to every part, the Spirit. So it was an interesting thing I thought of this morning. The water may be turned on to some people's lives, but they're not taking advantage of it because they're not allowing themselves to be filled with the light of God's presence throughout every part of them. I just want to encourage you all that there is always an answer to every need that you have. God is always there. Don't give up the ship.